the Ruger Security 380. It is essentially a mid to full size 380 with 15 rounds of 380, a recessed internalized hammer. Then you have slide cutouts on the slide to make it track faster. Then you have a bright fiber optic front sight with blacked out rears. Then you have a frame mounted safety. And then you got this prepubescent rail on the front end for your stupid little lights. So the question remains, who is this gun for? I know exactly who this gun is for, and I'm about to tell you. You see that? Let's watch it again. You see that? I'm at 15-ish, 20 yards.
Before you finish watching this video, a word from our sponsor. Have you ever thought about making a living in the firearms industry? If you enjoy gun repair, ballistics, and learning about firearms, Sonoran Desert Institute's online courses might just be a good fit for you. To find out more, visit sdi.edu or call 480-999-4767 today. All the ammo used in this video was brought to you by Nosler.
This gun is for people who hate 9mm. People who hate carrying 9mm. So I have an LCP. My LCP is essentially my mail gun. I throw the little thing in my pocket and I go to the mailbox with it. I did a whole video on it. You can probably look at it here somewhere. It'll pop up. If it doesn't, then the editor did a terrible job. But that would be Peter. So this gun is honestly for people who carry LCPs. And generally speaking, the people that carry LCPs are either you want the small form factor that comes with a 380 and you don't want to carry a bigger gun because of maybe the way you're dressed at the time. There's another segment of people who love 380s. Women. They love them. They love the little 380s. And they love them for different reasons. Some of them is just because they have these stupid little Chanel purses. And I'm pretty sure Peter's gonna annotate me carrying a purse. Yeah, he's shaking his head because he's a weirdo. You know, these little tiny little Chanel purses that they get, and they can't fit any other gun in it except for a little tiny 380 LCP. But sometimes a lot of these girls actually want something a little bit bigger that has more rounds. And because a lot of them don't like the recoil that comes from a 9mm, whether it be from a Glock 19 or something even smaller. They don't like it. So they like the recoil from the 380. And when you take a 380 and you put it in what is essentially almost like a compact, almost arguably maybe a slightly full size, the gun shoots like this. Like it doesn't recoil. It doesn't. It's such a pleasure to shoot even for me. I'm used to shooting 9mm. I recently was doing video shooting 45, and you really start to get an understanding of how much recoil affects the enjoyment of shooting a firearm and the confidence that it actually inspires when you need to go shoot the firearm. We've been out here filming, and every time I go to shoot this gun, when Peter's like, all right, I need you to shoot this many rounds, shoot this many shots, for all the B-roll stuff, I'm looking forward to it because it's such an easy gun to shoot. I don't have to maintain all my fundamentals from shooting. I can get away with being a little sloppy because the gun is so easy to shoot and it's so flat. And so with these cutouts too, the slide track's a little bit faster because it's a little bit less weight. Now we all know I like slides that track fast. So that's who this gun is for. It's for people who like 380s, and as weird as that may be for a lot of people, there are people out there who are like, no, I want a 380. There are a lot of people you ask them, it's like, nope, I want a 380. For whatever reason, they want a 380. And honestly, if you're looking for a 380 that you wanna, I don't know, maybe keep for your bedside gun. 380 that you would keep in the house, 380 that you might wanna keep in a bag. This Ruger Security 380, I think is a perfect gun for that. Because you get 15 rounds of 380 in a gun that's incredibly easy to shoot. And it's enjoyable to shoot, and it's not intimidating. The only thing intimidating about it are 380 prices. It's not a cheap round. So keep that in mind when you decide that you want to use a 380 as your go-to self-defense tool. That being said, this particular platform, this Ruger Security 380, I'm telling you, it's tits. It's tits. I'm sorry, it just is. The Ruger LCP2, or the Ruger LCP Max, that one is also a double stack, and it has 10 rounds, if I'm not mistaken, of 380. And I loved it. And I'm talking about from a shooting standpoint. So now take that Make it even bigger. Now you get this fat, obese, it's really not that big, but compared to the LCP, this fat, obese version of it, and it shoots like a dream. Like it just, boom, boom, boom. Like I don't have to overthink my grip. I don't have to overthink what the gun's gonna do. It just does it. And the one thing I really love about this gun, I do love this fiber optic front sight. I think it is a great sight in terms of grabbing my attention. Now, what it does at night might be a different story, but here during the day, out here in this environment, I'm telling you, this thing glows. Especially when you have the blacked out rear sights, the thing just glows and it just sits. Your eyes just catch it. Woo! Like this gun is just so pleasurable to shoot. I'm not gonna say fun. That's not the word I'm getting in my mind when I say that. And what's the difference between a pleasurable gun to shoot versus a fun gun to shoot? It's a little gray. It's a little gray. The recoil is really soft. You enjoy shooting it, but it's not like, oh my God, this is the funnest thing I've ever shot. There isn't like this there isn't this character about it that just screams, oh, I just want to shoot this all day. But it is plausible to shoot and you can shoot it all day. Because at the end of the day, you are just shooting a 380. Let's just call it what it is. 22s are so small that it makes it really fun to shoot. 45s are so big, 10 millimeters are so big that it kind of creates a certain drama about it that makes it really fun to shoot. I put the 380s and the 9s in this category of when you're shooting them out of a handgun, it's really kind of hard to make them super fun to shoot unless you're shooting it out of like a pistol caliber carbine of sorts. Otherwise, they're kind of like it's a 380 and it's a 9. But not all 380s and not all 9s are pleasurable to shoot. And this thing is incredibly pleasurable to shoot. The safety on this gun, I could live without. If I'm gonna talk about some of the things I don't like about this gun, I don't like the safety. And the reason why I don't like the safety, it's like, it's either have one big enough that it's intuitive to use or don't put one on it at all. Personally, I would just run this gun with the safety off the entire time. The one thing I will give it credit for, it's a very tight safety and it's very small, so I'm not worried about it being accidentally engaged on. So if I decide to run it with it off, it's not a big deal. Now this trigger is from their second generation of triggers within these platforms. I like the trigger except for one. Take up a break and then you get a reset. And the reset is smooth. The only problem with it is it's very long. It's a long reset. And so the problem with the long reset, at least for me, is if I decide to run the gun fast, as you can see, I can do it, but I have to concentrate a little bit more because I don't have a really short reset. Otherwise, trigger's really good. Other than that, I gotta say, you get your little rail for the light. If you got a little tiny light you wanna put on it and make this your little bedside gun if you're a 380 person, this is the gun for you. It's plain and simple. I can't think of any other reason or any other gun off the top of my head that you'd probably wanna get for a mid-size, slightly under full-size 380. This is tits. It's tits. I know I keep saying that. It's the only adjective I can think of right now. Don't quite know why. I think I have some Freudian issues I need to deal with. But yeah, Security 380.
Guns aren't political. That's why I need your help getting this message to spread on YouTube by clicking the thumbs up button, leaving a comment to let me know what you think of the video, then subscribing to the channel. But most importantly, click that bell symbol. For products featured in this video, click the links in the description.